Sahih al-Bukhari 681. Narrated Anas. The Prophet did not come out for 3 days. The people stood for the prayer and Abu Bakr went ahead to lead the prayer. In the meantime, the Prophet caught hold of the curtain and lifted it. When the face of the Prophet appeared, we had never seen a scene more pleasing than the face of the Prophet as it appeared then. The Prophet beckoned to Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer and then let the curtain fall. We did not see him again till he died. Sahih al-Bukhari 682. Narrated Hamza bin Abdullah. My father said, when Allah's Messenger became seriously ill, he was told about the prayer. He said, "Tell Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer." Aisha said, Abu Bakr is a soft-hearted man and he would be overpowered by his weeping if he recited the Quran. He said to them, "Tell him, Abu Bakr, to lead the prayer." The same reply was given to him. He said again, "Tell him to lead the prayer. You, women, are the companions of Joseph." Sahih al-Bukhari 683. Narrated Hisham ibn Urwa's father. Aisha said, Allah's Messenger ordered Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer during his illness, and so he led them in prayer. Urwa, a sub-narrator, added, Allah's Messenger felt a bit relieved and came out and Abu Bakr was leading the people. When Abu Bakr saw the Prophet, he retreated, but the Prophet beckoned him to remain there. Allah's Messenger sat beside Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr was following the prayer of Allah's Messenger, and the people were following the prayer of Abu Bakr. Sahih al-Bukhari 684. Narrated Sahl bin Sa'di as-Sa'idi. Allah's Messenger went to establish peace among Bani Amr bin Auf. In the meantime, the time of prayer was due and the Muaddin went to Abu Bakr and said, "Will you lead the prayer, so that I may pronounce the Iqamah?" Abu Bakr replied in the affirmative and led the prayer. Allah's Messenger came while the people were still praying and he entered the rows of the praying people till he stood in the first row. The people clapped their hands. Abu Bakr never glanced sideways in his prayer, but when the people continued clapping, Abu Bakr looked and saw Allah's Messenger. Allah's Messenger beckoned him to stay at his place. Abu Bakr raised his hands and thanked Allah for that order of Allah's Messenger, and then he retreated till he reached the first row. Allah's Messenger went forward and led the prayer. When Allah's Messenger finished the prayer, he said, "O Abu Bakr, what prevented you from staying when I ordered you to do so?" Abu Bakr replied, "How can Ibn Abi Quafa, Abu Bakr, dare to lead the prayer in the presence of Allah's Messenger?" Then Allah's Messenger said, "Why did you clap so much? If something happens to anyone during his prayer, he should say Subhanallah. If he says so, he will be attended to, for clapping is for women." Sahih al-Bukhari 685. Narrated Malik bin Huwarith. We went to the Prophet, and we were all young men and stayed with him for about 20 nights. The Prophet was very merciful. He said, "When you return home, impart religious teachings to your families and tell them to offer perfectly such and such a prayer at such and such a time and such a prayer at such and such a time. And at the time of the prayer one of you should pronounce the adhan and the oldest of you should lead the prayer." Sahih al-Bukhari 686. Narrated Itban bin Malik al-Ansari. The Prophet came to my house and asked permission for entering, and I allowed him. He asked, "Where do you like me to pray in your house?" I pointed to a place which I liked. He stood up for prayer and we aligned behind him, and he finished the prayer with taslim and we did the same. Sahih al-Bukhari 687. Narrated Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah bin Utbah. I went to Aisha and asked her to describe to me the illness of Allah's Messenger. Aisha said, "Yes." The Prophet became seriously ill and asked whether the people had prayed. We replied, "No. O Allah's Apostle, they are waiting for you." He added, "Put water for me in a trough." Aisha added, "We did so." He took a bath and tried to get up but fainted. When he recovered, he again asked whether the people had prayed. We said, "No, they are waiting for you." "O Allah's Messenger," he again said, "put water in a trough for me." He sat down and took a bath and tried to get up but fainted again. Then he recovered and said, "Have the people prayed?" We replied, "No, they are waiting for you, O Allah's apostle." He said, "Put water for me in the trough." Then he sat down and washed himself and tried to get up, but he fainted. When he recovered, he asked, "Have the people prayed?" We said, "No, they are waiting for you, O Allah's messenger." The people were in the mosque waiting for the Prophet, for the Isha prayer. The Prophet sent for Abu Bakr to lead the people in the prayer. The messenger went to Abu Bakr and said, "Allah's messenger orders you to lead the people in the prayer." Abu Bakr was a soft-hearted man, so he asked Umar to lead the prayer, but Umar replied, "You are more rightful." So Abu Bakr led the prayer in those days. When the Prophet felt a bit better, he came out for the Zuhr prayer with the help of two persons, one of whom was al-Abbas, while Abu Bakr was leading the people in the prayer. When Abu Bakr saw him, he wanted to retreat, but the Prophet beckoned him not to do so and asked them to make him sit beside Abu Bakr, and they did so. Abu Bakr was following the Prophet in the prayer, and the people were following Abu Bakr. The Prophet prayed sitting. Ubaydullah added, "I went to Abdullah bin Abbas and asked him, 'Shall I tell you what Aisha has told me about the fatal illness of the Prophet?' Ibn Abbas said, 'Go ahead.' I told him her narration, and he did not deny anything of it, but asked whether Aisha told me the name of the second person who helped the Prophet, along with al-Abbas. I said, 'No,' he said, 'he was Ali ibn Abi Talib.'" Sahih al-Bukhari 688. Narrated Aisha, the mother of the believers, Allah's messenger, during his illness prayed at his house while sitting, whereas some people prayed behind him standing. The Prophet beckoned them to sit down. On completion of the prayer, he said, "The Imam is to be followed, but when he bows, raise up your heads, stand erect. When he raises his head and when he says, 'Sami'a Allahu liman hamida,' Allah heard those who sent praises to him, say then, 'Rabbana wa laka alhamd,' O our Lord. All the praises are for you, and if he prays sitting, then pray sitting." Sahih al-Bukhari 689. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once Allah's messenger rode a horse and fell down, and the right side of his body was injured. He offered one of the prayers while sitting, and we also prayed behind him sitting. When he completed the prayer, he said, "The Imam is to be followed. Pray standing if he prays standing, and bow when he bows, rise when he rises, and if he says, 'Sami'a Allahu liman hamida,' say then, 'Rabbana wa laka alhamd,' and pray standing if he prays standing, and pray sitting, all of you, if he prays sitting." Hamid said, "The saying of the Prophet, 'Pray sitting,' if he, Imam, prays sitting, was said in his former illness, during his early life, but the Prophet prayed sitting afterwards, in the last illness, and the people were praying standing behind him, and the Prophet did not order them to sit." We should follow the latest actions of the Prophet. Sahih al-Bukhari 690. Narrated al-Bara. And he was not a liar, when Allah's messenger said, "Sami'a Allahu liman hamida," none of us bent his back for prostration till the Prophet prostrated, and then we would prostrate after him. Sahih al-Bukhari 690b. Narrated Abu Ishaq. And he was not a liar, when Allah's messenger said, "Sami'a Allahu liman hamida," none of us bent his back for prostration till the Prophet prostrated, and then we would prostrate after him.